So this morning I had an epiphany and I started thinking about, why do I create? Why do I make art? Why do I do what I do? I know I do it because I make an income from it. I enjoy the process. But what is my big why? What drives me to pull all-nighters? What drives me to keep going when I don't know if I'm gonna have, what drives me to keep working and not go get a 9-to-5 job and then just do this on the side or whatever? Because I love this. Okay, that was kind of my first thing. I know I do. I love the process. I love doing what I love doing. But then last night, I had this, I sent a photo of the painting that I'm working on to the gal that it's for, and her response, and all the responses, anytime I send somebody a photo or I give them their finished painting that I made for them of their loved one, and the love that is in their eyes when they see it, and the joy and of capturing something they love, and just that emotion, I can't even put a word on it. It's just a combination of all the love that you could possibly find in the universe in this one 10-second moment of that first unveiling of this creation. And then it just dawned on me, this is why we are created in the image of God. We are His image bearers, and He made us to be in His likeness, and there's characteristics of Him that are in us, little bits, but they're in us. They're in our nature. They're in our drive for certain things and whatnot. And in my years of trying to understand God and who He is and why He did all these things, it was not until I started doing what I kind of was meant to do, being an artist, and I learned about myself, and I kind of came to be who I was meant to be. Then it dawned on me, because that I was living that, I was allowing that little bit of His characteristic, that's in Him, the creative aspect, to be alive in me, and it made sense. And I'm getting to it. Bear with me. When He created, or the garden, and He created the earth and the planets and all these things, I believe this was all for the intention of creating us, to have that relationship with us. He is a relationship person, being, He's a relationship God, and He knew he was going to create us, and all of this was for us to appreciate, to marvel at, to glorify, to awe at, to appreciate with Him. And yes, I'm sure you've heard that before, and I'm sure you've heard that mentioned before and whatnot, but I didn't fully understand that until I became an artist and I started doing what I do now. When I create a painting and I create the painting and I put it on social media, and I get a lot of positive responses and encouragement and support, and that means a lot to me. But when it's a painting for someone, when it's a painting created for a person, and I painted their child, their family, their dog, their deceased pet, when I create something for someone and I have this 10-second moment, sometimes even less, sometimes it's not even there in person, sometimes it's over text message when they first get to see it, when they're giving me an approval, or when I'm finally delivering it and I get to see it for the first time, and I'm creating something for them, and the love that comes out, it's not just appreciation for a skill or for an art piece. The love that I get from the painting, to the painting, as a result of the painting, the appreciation, the marveling, there's not even a word that describes the feeling that happens in that very short 10 seconds. That unveiling is what I truly live for. I put hours and hours in for that moment, that moment is everything. And when I get to see it, oh my gosh, I'm an empath by nature, and so it's kind of like it fuels up my love bucket or my joy bucket. So he created all these amazing things for that moment to create mankind and for us to truly love and appreciate it. And he can then sit back and say, this is good. The same feeling I get when I'm done with something, or I'm even halfway done, and I can sit back at the end of every night in my beanbag next to the fireplace, and I can say, this is good. It's not even a reason why, it's not even a logical reason. It is this incredible emotion feeling. And I do believe that is the same type of, but times a million, feeling or an experience, and the reason of why he does what he does, why he created the planets. He didn't have to do all that. He could have just made a empty space with one sun and one planet, and he could have made it work. You know what I mean? This was not necessary. It's not necessary for me to sit there and get the sparkle in the eye just right, get the eyelash in the right place, the dimple right where it needs to be. I mean, I can do an approximate. I don't have to go into all the detail, but sometimes I obsess over certain details because the love that I have for it, and that moment that's going to happen when I give it to the person that this is for, and the love that I put in it, and the love that they experience through it. Like, it's nothing compared to him and why he did it, in the grand scheme of things, but it is a glimpse, it is an understanding that I now have. One of the things I also do on the side is in the springtime, I plant a garden, and I started gardening a few years ago, and I remember the first time I planted sunflower seeds, and I was so amazed at watching them come out of the ground. I set up my phone and recorded a time-lapse video, and I would come back and in every couple hours and watch them move. And it was just incredible just to see how the seeds slowly open up with the sunflower seed still attached on the top. And it was just the most incredible thing I have ever witnessed. It felt like at the moment the birth of a living thing from a crunchy thing that I could have eaten and spit out on the ground. And I'll never forget that. And to this day, every time I plant seeds and I come back to the garden a week later or even a few days later for some that germinate fast, to see the little green things coming out of the ground, that's why he planted the garden. It was that same love, that desire. It's not even a sentence reason is what I'm trying to say. It's that same feeling, that emotion, the joy that we get. Multiply that by a million, gazillion, infinity. I can't even imagine. It blows me away. And it's something I guess we don't really think about. We don't really think that sometimes the things that bring us incredible joys, those childlike joys, that's why he says to be like children. Those childlike joys, they're some of the same joys that he has. And they're in us. And we are his image bearers. And we do have, some of those characteristics. And if we truly look at those things and analyze them and try to understand ourselves a little bit more, it might give us a glimpse into who he is. And the reason why I personally find it fascinating to try to understand who God is, what kind of being is he, what kind of what's his personality? Like, I want to know I want to actually know who he is. It's not just a blob of energy. Energy is part of the glory that comes from him. But, to have a relationship, to have a friendship, you have to know someone. How can you have a close friendship when you don't really know who that person is? And the same goes for, I believe, having a relationship with our Heavenly Father. We have to know who he is. And that doesn't mean that we can't have a relationship at all if we don't know who he is. I think when you meet somebody, you like them, and you're like, oh, this is going to be my friend. I'm going to get to know them better. And you enjoy getting to know them better as time goes on. Kind of like dating. You're meeting your spouse. You meet them. You're enamored with them. You're just wowed. God is amazing. He's this incredible thing. Yes, I believe, you come to your terms of what you believe as your faith and whatnot. And then, your relationship won't grow if you don't get to know each other. And so I just find joy in that. And I just always wondered about the why. And I've been told why, various reasons for my parents growing up as a kid, or, hearing things on TV or in church and whatever. But I never fully understood it to where I felt it and it made sense. And if you're not an artist, this might not make as much sense to you. But I encourage you to, if you enjoy doing certain things, for example, creating an amazing meal. Maybe you're a builder. Maybe you are a gardener. Or maybe there's some other characteristic of him that is in you. And the incredible joy that you get that drives you to continue doing that. Maybe you're a nurturer. Maybe you're a carer. Maybe you are, maybe you have a different gift. And kind of makes me wonder, the different gifts that we're given, they're like almost like characteristics of him. We all have a gift. It's something. It could be being poetic. It could be being a good writer. But in some way or form, it's a reflection, a characteristic of him in us as an image bearer. And so that's why he wants us to use our talents, our gifts, because those are things that I think can bring us closer to him. My hope is that this inspires you to get to know him better. And if you don't know what your gifts are, what your talents are, ask him. He'll tell you. But you need to ask genuinely. If you don't believe in the Bible and you don't believe in God, and you do something without faith, don't even waste your time. This probably is not for you. If you're curious and you're genuinely asking with faith that he might answer, then do it. If you don't want an answer, don't do it. It's pretty simple. And this may not be for you. But if you know that he will answer, do it. If you're curious if he will answer, and you have that childlike curiosity, like, is this for real? Will he answer? He will. Do it. But just ask him, what is my gift? What is my talent? What is that bit of characteristic of you that you put in me? How can we bond together? How can we get to know each other? Because it's just, it's such an incredible feeling. It's so incredible, I don't even have the right words. I don't think I did justice by this, but I hope some part of what I was trying to say conveyed clearly. Anyway, I hope you have a wonderful morning, a wonderful day, and go get inspired. Welcome to my channel and to this series called The Rambling Artist. This is where I'm going to share what's on my heart and on my mind. I hope that even if our opinions and beliefs don't perfectly align, that there's still something positive that you can pick and take with you that will inspire you and strengthen you on your walk through this world.